NXT Time provides a powerful but easy-to-use indirect allocation processing system that allows you to automate allocating indirect costs such as rent, utilities, administrative expenses, etc. to grants and projects based on your labor allocations. NXT Time allows indirect allocations to be calculated based on either percentage of total wages per labor unit or by the number of hours worked per labor unit. Since NXT Time maintains your payroll wage allocations, it can use the results of those allocations and apply those results to your indirect costs for easy automated allocation of indirect costs. After your payroll period has ended and you have processed your payroll allocations using NXT Time, the next step is to set up and execute an indirect allocation rule that you can execute on demand. The concept behind the indirect allocation tool is to be able to pull an account balance from Financial Edge NXT, like a pooled account, and reallocate a portion or all of that amount to your grants or projects according to your wage allocations. From the home page, click on Indirect Allocation Rules. From here, we can execute a rule that has already been defined or set up a new one. For this exercise, we will view and edit one that we have already created. Each indirect allocation rule consists of 5 settings: calculation parameters, calculation filters and groupings, source account settings, target account settings, and journal entry settings. We will go through each one of these settings in detail. Calculation parameters. These settings define the source of your payroll allocations that will be used by NXT Time to create the allocation percentages to be used. The calc start and end dates are there to define the payroll wages date range you would like to use in the calculation pool. The calculation code selection allows you to select specific wage types to be used in the calculation pool. The calculation basis allows you to define from your payroll transactions in the calculation pool if you want to use only debit entries from payroll, credit entries only from payroll, or both debits and credits. For example, if you only wanted to create the calculation percentages to be used from the actual wages expenses, you would likely always select debit only as the calculation basis setting. The calculation method defines the basis of the calculation method to be used. Using percentage of total wages, this would create percentage calculations based on actual total wage dollars paid for the selected calculation period. Using number of hours, this would create percentage calculations based on actual total hours worked, rather than total wage dollars. Calculation filters and groupings. These settings define the items of your general ledger structure you want to use in determining the calculation percentages, the payroll group you wish to use, and any general ledger account filters you want to be considered when calculating the percentages for the allocation. Calculation group. This defines the segments of your general ledger that you want to allocate indirect costs back to. As an example, if you wanted to allocate an indirect cost back to projects based on wages allocated to those same projects, you would select Project for the calculation group. You can multi-select it from this section based on your calculation and allocation needs. Calculation filters. Payroll group. NXT Time allows you to group your employees in different payroll groups for processing and allocating. You can include all groups here or select specific ones to be used for allocation purposes. The General Ledger Grid allows you to further filter from the calculation pool to only use certain wage accounts in performing the calculations. Source Account Settings defines the specific accounts in Financial Edge NXT that you want to pull the amount of indirect and how to determine the basis amount to use. Balance basis. You could define the rule to allocate an account balance as of a specified date, or you can allocate the net activity of the account for a specified time period. Source accounts. This grid allows you to define the specific general ledger accounts from Financial Edge NXT that you wish to use to determine the source amount to be reallocated. You can also define the percentage of the source amount from each account to be reallocated. The Offset checkbox determines if you simply offset the source account when creating the allocated journal entry, or alternatively, you can define completely separate accounts to offset the allocated journal entry. Target account settings defines where to reallocate the indirect amount to. You can utilize the powerful mask feature here to allow the system to create allocation lines based on the settings in the calc group. For example, in the calc group, you select project so that NXT time calculates the percentage of each project in the pool that you will be reallocating the indirect costs to. You can then mask the project segment in the target account grid, and NXT time will create a project distribution for all projects within the pool and allocate the correct amounts to each project automatically. Journal entry settings. These will be the setting used to create the journal entry batch in Financial Edge NXT. This concludes the indirect cost allocation overview using NXT time. For more information, please contact a member of our sales team. Thank you for watching.